Buckeye Nation, back at you, my man Stanley Jackson. Jack.
We got good lighting and everything in here,
Come
Jim.
on, man. This is a roaming studio. I got
we have our seatbelts on, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to know.
I have midgets in the back getting it all together. But had an interesting conversation with a good friend of mine last week, this weekend as a matter of fact, about Noah Spence. I was irritated that I found out that Noah Spence was practicing with the team. Still practicing. And she's like, well, Jim, well, maybe they think that's what's best. I looked at her and said, listen, this kid has shown himself to be at some rate an addict, with this problem. Mm-hmm. And I said, when it comes to football, the perception at best is that we do such a terrible job of not making it about the individual and what's best for the kid. So I didn't say kick the kid off the team,
right?
But I did have a problem with him practicing because, in my opinion, the way that looks is, well, hey, he's going to be up for appeal. If they say he can end up playing, he's going to be ready to play. And I'm like, is that really what's best for this kid when we have an opportunity to help him out? What do you think about that?
Well, listen, that's a great question, and it's a tough question. I don't think there's a definitive answer. I don't think there's necessarily a right or wrong here. So here's the football side of it. He may be eligible to play. He's going to appeal, and there may be some wiggle room there, and I like that. I don't think a kid ought to get kicked out of school and lose a whole year when we know he's an addict. It's a disease here, right? And it's something that we need to help him with. So because of that, they're going to practice him because he's the best pass rusher in the Big Ten, bar none.
Period.
And at the end of the day, for coaches, even though they want to build men, it's about winning games. And that's just the reality. So on top of that, we have to figure out how do we help him best. And my hope is that the coaching staff understands who Noah is better than we do. And I think if you take football away from him right now, you break him. Right? If you tell him he can't come around, you break him. And so sometimes, as you know, the best way to keep tabs on someone is to keep him close.
That's true.
So I don't know what he's doing in practice. I don't know if he's on the scout team or if he's holding dummies, but I think they want to keep him close. And I like that. Because too many people are ready to throw him away. And again, look, we all wish we would play 15, 20 years in the NFL. I wish I was still playing. Right?
Absolutely.
We're running up on 40.
Absolutely.
I can still spin it. But the truth is, we all get kicked out of the game before we want to.
Right.
And so we can get some things into this young man that's going to help him develop and grow, then he'll be better for it in the long run. And so I kind of like the fact that they're keeping him close. Now, I get your point. Why is he out there if he's not going to help the team? It could be a distraction. But to me, there may be something a little bigger. I think maybe they know him a little bit and they realize that if they tell him to take a hike, that it's going to devastate him and he'll probably go down to a deeper ditch. I grew up in a family that battled drug abuse and alcohol addiction, and it is a disease and it is tough to fight through. The thing that I learned in watching my family battle it is that your family is vitally important. The support staff you have is vital to your success in kicking a habit, and so my hope is that's the plan. Now, he made a huge mistake, and he's got to pay for that. There's a price to pay, and he's sitting out maybe the rest of this year.
Yep, absolutely.
But I would love for him to have an opportunity to come back and play next year. I don't think he should lose everything, and maybe he has to lose a scholarship and pay for school, and he'll get it again next year. But I think that's the best way to do it. It's just like if you're a prop and you got to sit out for academics, you shouldn't lose your entire career.
Right.
There's no question he's hurting his money here. The kid is a talent. He can rush the passer. I think he has a future on Sundays, but he's got to clean this up, and I think our program can help him.
And the thing is, I'm with you. I'm totally with where you're at. I don't think we should throw him away. I think we should probably get with some chemical dependency professionals, which I'm sure they have,
right,
to say, I had a good friend of mine, Rick, who inboxed me and was like, man, I heard he's practicing. He needs time. And he said the same thing I said, actually. He said, don't throw him away. Let him practice. Let him be a part of the program. Let him work out. But get him off that field. Because that's his, as an addict, until you lose, until you recognize that you're
the rock bottom syndrome.
Yes.
Right.
Until you recognize that Josh Gordon is going through it right now. This dude's is an amazing talent as he is in the NFL.
Right.
He's been with literally 4 different programs with the same issue.
Right.
And no one has addressed his issue.
And he's missed games, and he's been off the team. Everett Golston is a perfect example of that. Football is taken away. He looks like the second coming of Michael Vick now.
Right.
Because he's playing every game like it could be his last.
Yeah.
And, and I can't disagree with you.
I see where you're coming from.
But I can only add this, is that everybody is different. And for him, for me, for you, if you were told that you could do everything the team does, but you're not playing, the year you're supposed to be starting, how does that affect you?
Yep.
That's rock bottom. Right? That would be rock bottom. Knowing that I can't go on the gridiron and help my boys, knowing that I've let them down, not watching that we can't get a pass rush and I'm sitting over here in skivvies.
Right.
That could be rock bottom for him. But yet he's still connected enough that they can keep close tabs on him. Because if you tell him you can't practice, that's a lot of downtime. We always say idle mind or idle time leads to problems, right? And so I think they want to keep him close.
Keep him close.
And I think they want to distract him a little bit. I mean, because I think a part of our challenge with athletes is that, we're put on this pedestal. We're seen as supermen. And I think people ultimately think that we can kick habits or fix ourselves a lot easier than most people. But the truth is, no, we need the same amount of help with the same levels of intensity in order to get fixed. Because Josh Gordon is a perfect example. I mean, people say, well, how does the guy fail multiple tests? Well, because he's got a problem. Now, he may not admit it, but who's ever admitted that they had a problem?
Absolutely.
Whether it was stealing, fornicating, or using drugs, who admits that they have a problem?
Right.
Nobody does.
Absolutely.
So we've got to help him, and he's young enough that we can get him some help, and he is a part of Buckeye Nation, and we're not throwing him away.
And I think we should help him. I agree with you.
That's right.